Hello guys, it's Caroline from Exclusive Polish. Now I'm going to show you how to apply tips on prepped nails. I'm going to be using this half well tips. Okay? Now I'm gonna take my tip, make sure that it's the correct size by placing it like that on the free edge and making sure that it covers both sides of the natural nail. Then it's the correct size. You cannot use a small sized tip. If you use a tip that's not covering from side to side, your nails are going to eventually snap out due to pressure, then they won't last. Clients will come back. Now, I am going to use my brush on glue and actually lightly brush it inside the wall like that. Do not, again at this stage, use a lot of glue. You just need enough to actually cover your wall. Then I'm going to place the tip on the free edge, then slightly tilt it back. You see my glue running like that? To make sure that I don't have any air bubbles. If you get any air bubbles, you're gonna gently rock your tip back and forth like that until all air bubbles are gone. Now let's repeat the step again. This is how your tip application should look like. I'm going to take my brush on glue. Make sure that I just brush in just the correct amount inside my tip well, not over the wall area of the tip. Then I'm going to attach it to my client's free edge, from the free edge all the way down to the cuticle. Then gently rock it like that. Hold on it for about 30 seconds and then you should have something like that. Now my tips are placed properly. Now the next step now will be using our tip cutter to give the tips my model's desired length. And then I'm gonna snip off the second one as well. Okay? Now what I'm going to do after snipping them off like that, I am going to now blend the tips. This is now the next stage. I'm going to blend the tips using the 100 grit file and then making sure that I do not touch the client's natural nail. Do not touch the client's natural nail when you are doing this step. You don't want to hurt your client. We're just filing on the tip only to make sure that it transitions smoothly where it meets the natural nail. That is what tip blending is about. We don't use any force, guys, because if you use force at this stage, you can easily now start filing on your client's natural nail plate, therefore hurting them. You just want to slowly, just gently like that, make sure that your tip is blended properly with the natural nail like that. By blended properly, I mean you don't see any line of the tip anymore when you're done with your tip prep. Okay, then remove the shine of the tip using your hand file like that. Okay, now I'm gonna do it again on this tip in case you guys missed it. I'm gonna start with my 100 grit side of 180 grit file and move it from the sides like that to make sure that my tip is aligned with the side walls of my client. And then come to the next side, do the same thing, make sure that the tip is aligned properly with the client's side wall. Then from there, go and kill off the tip seam using my hand file without filing on the client's natural nail plate. I'm prepping the tip now, blending it in. Blend the tip in. Make sure that in this stage you do not use any force and you don't touch the client's natural nail plate. Okay, now when I'm done with my tip blending, your tips should look something like that. I'm going to go for a shape called a square oval. Okay, now for that kind of shape, I'm just gonna make sure that my tips are level or straight on the free edge like that. And then the rest of the shaping I will do after my acrylic application, because I'm doing a square oval. Now, after blending my tips, I am going to brush off the dust using my manicure brush. Dust off like that, and then I'm going to sterilize one more time. Just one spray like that. Now our tips, as you can see, they are ready for our acrylic application. Now the first acrylic application is going to be just your normal acrylic application, and then the second one is going to be acrylic marbling. Please follow the next video for instructions on how to do the next step from here.